Hello and good day. Well, bagong video reaction yung gagawin ko ngayon. So far, napanood ko yung kabuuan ng isa sa mga video ng isang atheist before. Kung saan iginigiit niya na claim lang daw ng rejection daw ng belief yung atheism, na yung love physical chemical reaction lamang ng body. Tapos ano pa, yung Bible daw ay punong-puno daw ng kalokohan, hindi raw yan totoo. And then he went on to attack my credentials as well as even as an educator, so to speak. So I guess maybe this will be a time for a series. So a series kung saan i-address natin po ang kanyang mga claims. So far, let's do this one.
You know, I said I wasn't gonna make a video about this particular person, but holy shit, his claims are just so fucking dumb. I'm sorry, it's dumb. He looks at my video and says, "Oh, there's nothing like this if atheism is true." Oh my God. First and foremost, atheism is just a rejection of a claim that has no evidence. So now, what do you do with that? The problem with these people is that they conflate their worldview with atheism. They conflate what is a worldview to atheism and then think just because we reject the claim of God, that means we believe all this bunch of things.
Bilang paglilinaw, I even ask any skeptic kung ano ba ang kanilang mga reasons why they think totoo ang atheism. Maliwanag po sa video niya, he did not really answer me. He did not really answer my question, so to speak. And then he went on to say that the arguments that we've presented are just merely dumb statements without any good reasons to this. Well, nagsimula siya sa pag-define what atheism is, and according to him, atheism is just a rejection of the claim, which is God exists. And then he went on to say some things like, they complete their worldview to atheism without even realizing na still, worldview pa rin ang atheism, so to speak. Kasi tingnan nyo mga kaibigan, mga kapatid, whether we like it or not, walang matatawag na neutral na posisyon. May kinalaman sa faith, may kinalaman sa morals, may kinalaman sa iba pang mga ideologies. So sa point na yun, ang dapat ipaliwanag sa atin ng ating kaibigan ay ito. If there is no God, how can he explain some of the questions in life, like why are we here? Ano pa? Ano ba ang ultimate purpose ng buhay ng tao kung walang matatawag na Diyos, so to speak? So far, ang napansin ko lang, okay, andun na yung rejection of that claim that God exists. Without even thinking about this one na rejection. I mean, atheism is also a belief. Atheism is also a dogma. Ano yung dogma? There's no God. So, ngayon, ang claim ng isa, which is yung position natin bilang mga Christians, God exists. Okay? Yung kabila naman, which is yung view niya, God does not exist. So, ang parehong panig ay mayroong burden of proof para may paliwanag yan. Eh, ang kaso, instead of discussing the reasons why atheism is true, he was just making assumptions. Assumptions lang. Without any basis, so to speak. So, that's all that he says here. Sabi lang niya, your arguments are so dumb. It's dumb. Eh, why? Ganito at ganyan. Yun lang. I understand the point that he was making there. Yun lang talaga. It does not even present his position by proving that his view is true. Sa bagay, kung titingnan lang naman, wala talagang matatawag na solid foundation ang kanyang pinanaligan na view. Kasi tingnan nyo, mga kapatid, kung talagang walang Diyos, Okay, a person can create his meaning, his purpose, his value, pero ito lamang ay self-delusion if God does not exist. Yun lang. Mas may sense pa rin talaga ang buhay if God exists. Bilang paglilinaw, I even ask any skeptic kung ano ba ang kanilang mga reasons why they think totoo ang atheism. Maliwanag po sa video niya, he did not really answer me. He did not really answer my question, so to speak. And then he went on to say that the arguments that we've presented are just merely dumb statements without any good reasons for this. Well, nagsimula siya sa pag-define what atheism is, and according to him, atheism is just a rejection of the claim, which is God exists. And then he went on to say some things like, ano ba? Like, they complete their worldview to atheism without even realizing na still, worldview pa rin ang atheism, so to speak. Kasi tingnan nyo mga kaibigan, mga kapatid, whether we like it or not, walang matatawag na neutral na posisyon. May kinalaman sa faith, may kinalaman sa morals, may kinalaman sa iba pang mga ideologies. So sa point na yun, ang dapat ipaliwanag sa atin ng ating kaibigan ay ito. If there is no God, how can he explain some of the questions in life, like why are we here? Ano pa? Ano ba ang ultimate purpose ng buhay ng tao kung walang matatawag na Diyos, so to speak? So far, ang napansin ko lang, okay, andun na yung rejection of that claim that God exists. Without even thinking about this one na rejection. I mean, atheism is also a belief. Atheism is also a dogma. Ano yung dogma? There's no God. So, ngayon, ang claim ng isa, which is yung position natin bilang mga Christians, God exists. Okay? Yung kabila naman, which is yung view niya, God does not exist. So, ang parehong panig ay mayroong burden of proof para maipaliwanag yan. Eh, ang kaso, instead of discussing the reasons why atheism is true, he was just making assumptions. Assumptions lang. Without any basis, so to speak. So, that's all that he says here. Sabi lang niya, your arguments are so dumb. It's dumb. Eh, why? Ganito at ganyan. Yun lang. I understand the point that he was making there. Yun lang talaga. It does not even present his position by proving that his view is true. Sa bagay, kung titingnan lang naman, wala talagang matatawag na solid foundation ang kanyang pinanaligan na view. Kasi tingnan nyo, mga kapatid, kung talagang walang Diyos, okay, a person can create his meaning, his purpose, his value, pero ito lamang ay self-delusion if God does not exist. Yun lang. Mas may sense pa rin talaga ang buhay if God exists. Okay. Ituloy natin ang pag-discuss dito.
God, that means we believe all this bunch of things. He keeps on saying if atheism is true, then there's no critical thinking. If atheism is true, there's no love. Love is a chemical reaction. It's a very special chemical reaction, and it's amazing. It's more amazing if you think about it in a scientific way, actually. I have a girlfriend, and every time that I think about how my body reacts, how my brain reacts, how the chemicals in my brain just pop off every time she's near, that's such a beautiful process to think about. But you think that love comes from a deity that you have no proof for, that you just claim, because that's what it is, right? A claim.
Malino yung claim niya na first, ang love daw ay hanggang biochemical reaction lamang sa katawan. And second, wala raw tayong evidence for the fact that God exists, that He is the source of what love is. Alam nyo, totoo naman na sa biology, meron talagang matatawag doon na mga chemicals, kumbaga, na naging dahilan kaya yung may feelings yung tao, may nararamdaman na special, kumbaga, so to speak. So, our bodies react chemically when we feel emotions. Pero, sa Christian worldview kasi, it sees love as far more than chemistry. So, do you think, halimbawa, okay, let's say, to point this out, I have a wife, okay? Now, if I will say to her that I love her just because there is some sort of chemical reaction in my body, do you think it's a good way to answer what do you want to say, what do you want to feel for her, for example? Biro mo sasabihin ka, mahal kita kasi yung chemicals ng katawan ko ganito. You know what? From Christian perspective, love reflects the divine nature of God, who is love itself. So, kung ang pagmamahal ay tanging sa biochemical response lamang ng ating katawan, then walang intrinsic value o kahulugan nito. Parang na-evolve lamang ba? Di ba? Pero kung ang love ay grounded sa nature ng Diyos, so to speak, then it carries real purpose and significance beyond mere biology. Ang mga Kristiyano, they find that love is meaningful precisely. Why? It is because it reflects the nature of God and the intentional design He has for relationships. So, if we think na ang love ay parang chemical reaction lamang sa katawan, then ano pala ang sense kung halimbawa sa mga magulang, sasabihin nila sa kanilang mga anak na mahal nila ang kanilang mga anak? What will be the sense of it? At ngayon, kung titingnan natin yung role ng critical thinking sa pananampalataya, sa atheism, so to speak, you know what? Christianity has a rich history of intellectual inquiry. We can have some sort of study in the writings of St. Augustine, St. Thomas Aquinas, C.S. Lewis, Alvin Plantinga, even William Lane Craig. They have engaged deeply with questions of faith, reason, and evidence. Di ba nga sabi ng Panginoon sa Isaiah 1:18 na, "Come now, let us reason together." So, Christians are called to examine and think deeply about their beliefs, about what we believe. But, I have a question kasi, dun sa remaining parts ng kanyang video, he claimed to be former Christian. Okay, I have a question to ask. What kind of study that you are doing? Yun lang naman. Kasi tingnan nyo, isa pa, critical thinking is a tool to arrive at truth, not an exclusive property of any worldview. So, ngayon, ito yung mga points na dapat kong ipinpoint po sa bawat nakikinig at bawat nanonood. If love is just a chemistry in the body, is there any ultimate meaning to it? Does reducing love to chemical processes diminish its value? Bukod dito, without a transcendent source of morality, as I have already asked this one to him before, no? Can objective moral values exist? Kasi tingnan nyo, karamihan sa mga atheistic philosophers, so to speak, they agree that moral value becomes subjective kasi walang foundation yan. Without a foundation in something greater than ourselves. At paano naman yung consciousness? Yung self-awareness, kumbaga. Alam nyo kasi, kung talagang nag-assume tayo ng physicalism or naturalism, so to speak, consciousness is difficult to explain purely in physical terms. Kaya, itong tanong ko sa inyo, na mga atheists, so to speak, how do you account for subjective experience and personal identity if humans are merely physical beings? Or let's say, moist robots? Yun. Kasi alam nyo, guys, in a world without God, love, morality, and purpose often become subjective as there's no transcendent grounding for their concepts. And if everything reduces to chemical reactions and physical processes, then yung love, morality, at maging yung consciousness, walang kwenta. It loses intrinsic value. Pero sa Christian perspective kasi guys, love has profound meaning because it reflects God's character. Morality has weight because it's grounded in God's nature, and consciousness is a gift that points to our being made in His image. So, at the end of the day, okay, fine, andun naman dun sa chemical reaction sa katawan natin when it comes on what we feel to a certain person. Like for example, kapag ka masasabi ko na mahal ko ang asawa ko, so to speak. Ano ba? Okay, andun na yung masasabi natin yung chemical reaction sa anatomiya ko. Pero, let's face it, kung mananatili lamang doon sa naturalistic na position, na yung nararamdaman ay o kaya yung love mismo, yung pag-ibig mismo ay hanggang doon lamang sa chemical reaction, then, ano bang intrinsic value nito? Ano ba ang meaning nito? Take note, kung tungkol lamang sa pagmamahal, ang iniisip mo dito yung ikabubuti ng taong yon. Ayaw mong mapahamak yung taong mahal mo. Gusto mong lagi siyang mapabuti. But if it's just some sort of chemicals lamang sa katawan, ano po ba yung masasabi natin na intrinsic value ukol dyan? So, kayo lamang po makapag-decide, mga kapatid. Well, you know what? I would like to continue to discuss this. Although, isang taon na yung kanyang video, but I think isa-isahin natin ang kanyang mga claims dito. This time, about the Bible. Tara.
He refutes my researched video about the anonymity of the gospel authors by saying he says that. Like, I researched that, sir. I did my research, and you can't tell me otherwise. And after so many interpolations, alterations for thousands upon thousands of years, somehow we still have no evidences of any scientific claims in there. We have almost zero historical evidences. The Gospels also promote so much heinous shit that I really don't care why you think it's true. It's not.
Well, meron siyang mga in-address dyan, anonymity of the gospel accounts, ano pa, yung interpolations at alterations sa apat na gospel accounts daw, historical evidence for the gospel. Take note, sabi niya, almost zero evidence daw. Ano pa? Yung tungkol sa ethical objections tungkol sa mga teachings sa gospel accounts, right? Like for example, about judgment and some sort. Pati yung kung sinasabi na wala raw scientific claims. So, siguro, i-address po natin po ito ng isa-isa. Number 1, anonymity of the Gospels. Totoo na sa Gospel accounts, yung mga Gospel accounts, they do not include explicit authorship claims within their text. Pero, early church tradition, I don't know kung na-research niya. Kasi sabi niya, ni-research daw niya yon. What does he mean for the term research? Did he ever dare to read those books like this? I hope he did. Early church tradition consistently attributes them to Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. At yung mga attribution yan ay mula mismo sa early Christian sources katulad ng kay Papias at Irenaeus. And by the way, kung titignan po natin yung internal evidence test po dyan, mas lalo po natin makikita na Mateo, Marcos, Lucas 1, they wrote the gospel accounts. I even presented those pieces of evidence in the discussions that I had with some of our atheist friends, and even one of our Muslim friends that actually he wants to discuss it with me once again, even though na pag-usapan po namin yan last 2018 and 2021. But anyway, if we consider how the gospels were transmitted, it's worth noting that anonymity in ancient texts did not function the same way as it might today. Kasi the names attached to the gospel accounts would have been necessary for identifying them in early church setting. And had these names been later fabrications, it would likely have been refuted by competing traditions. Pero walang competing traditions sa mga early church fathers ng time na yun. They truly recognized that Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John wrote the Gospels na na-attribute sa kanilang pangalan. At bukod dito, yung sa claims and interpolations at alterations, so to speak, textual variants do exist in the manuscripts of the New Testament. However, dahil sa textual criticism, and by the way, if you are watching this, another homework para sa'yo, pag-aralan mo yung textual criticism, okay? Anyway, meron po tayong 5,800 Greek manuscripts ng New Testament. Kasama na po yung mga early translations and quotations ng mga early church fathers. At bukod dyan, yung kadami-daming mga manuskrito na yan, yung mga to, it allows scholars to cross-check and identify the original text with a high degree of confidence. Have you ever read some books from Daniel Wallace? I hope you do. O kaya maghanap ka din. Available yan sa Amazon. Isa pa, most of the differences between manuscripts are minor, katulad ng spelling at grammar. At hindi po ito nakaka-apekto sa core teachings ng Christianity. Halimbawa, biblical scholar Bruce Metzger has shown that over 99% of these textual variations have no impact on Christian teachings or the essential message of the gospel accounts. What we have is not a corrupted document but a reliable one. So, put it simply, yung mga tinatawag na interpolations dyan, hindi naman talaga interpolations dyan. Ngayon, sabi pa niya kasi, wala raw historical, almost zero daw yung evidence sa gospel accounts. Pero, nakonsidera niya ba na basahin yung mga quotations from Josephus, Tacitus, and the rest of those ancient non-Christian sources na ito? I hope he did. And by the way, if you want some books like this, pwede mong basahin yung The Case for the Resurrection of Jesus ni Licona and Habermas. Ano pa? The Evidence for Christianity and Evidence That Demands a Verdict na sinulat ni Josh McDowell. And more of it. And again, let's do our homework. Okay? At bukod dyan, nabanggit na yung archaeology. Natagpuan ng Nazareth, natagpuan ng Capernaum, natagpuan yung paging historical ni na Pontius Pilate at Herod the Great. Meron din po yung mga historical basis na nagpapatunay dyan. So, hindi po totoo na almost zero raw. Actually, marami na pong patunay. And how about the ethical objections to the teachings of the gospel? Meron siya nabanggit ng mga heinous, ayoko nang banggitin yung term na yan. Pero alam nyo guys, it's not uncommon to have ethical concerns with aspects of the Bible as it presents teachings that can be challenging in a modern context. However, ano yung central moral message ng Gospels? Pagmamahal, compassion, pagpapatawad, at hustisya. Ang mga turo ni Kristo ay nakafocus sa pagmamahal sa Diyos at pagmamahal sa kapwa, ganyan pagmamahal sa sarili. Jesus promoted humility, serving others, and forgiving those who wrong us. Nasa totoo lang, ito po ay laganap. At bukod dyan, sa issue naman ng judgment, ito po ay konteksto may kinalaman sa hustisya na pinapairal ng Panginoon. The Gospels depict God's judgment as a response to evil and justice. Not arbitrary punishment, nung parang pinagtripan lamang ng Diyos. Ito, tapusin yan, ganito. Hindi. Katunayan nga, sabi nga ni Apostle Peter na binibigyan po tayo ng pagkakataon na magsisi sapagkat ayaw niya tayong mapahamak. And concerning sa societal norms, yung turo ni Kristo, his teachings were often countercultural, promoting the worth of women, the dignity of the poor, and care for the marginalized. So rather than being a source of heinous teachings, the gospel accounts have inspired countless acts of charity, justice, and reform throughout history. And I recommend you and I challenge you to reconsider reading the four gospels again. And instead of making some sort of, wala raw scientific claims, ganito. Totoo naman na ang gospel account sa Biblia, hindi po siya scientific text. They were written as historical accounts of Jesus' life and teachings, not as exploration of the natural world. However, meron po tayong mga points dyan sa iba pang mga bahagi ng Bible na tumatama talaga. And by the way, ano daw ang purpose ng Biblia? Theological and moral, addressing humanity's relationship with God and each other. So, expecting scientific content from ancient historical texts, misinterpret their genre and intent. So, okay, fine. You have some sort of research there. But, okay, na-appreciate ko naman yon. You know, pero ito lang gusto kong sabihin. Maging honest po tayo na mag-research uli. Magkaroon tayo ng time na muling mag-dig deeper sa mga evidence na nabanggit na. And I challenge you once again, read the 4 Gospels again. Well, then, lagi kong naririnig yung sinasabing, I was a Christian, I am a former Christian, or what. But I guess, ngayon, let's listen to what he says there. So, sige. Pakinggan natin.
If you think that I'm just choosing to reject the gospel, you're fucking wrong. I rejected the gospel because I grew up with the gospel. Before I was an atheist, what the fuck do you think I was? I was a Christian. I grew up with Catholic parents. I was baptized as a Methodist. I went to a Christian school from pre-elementary to high school, and then went to a Catholic school for my senior high school. And then, now that I'm in college, I go to a Catholic school named Holy Angel. You can't get more Christian than that. And throughout my education, we were taught theology, in particular, Christian theology. We were told to read the Bible every day because it's the good book, it has the good news. So did we. And you want to know why I became an atheist? Because I wanted to prove that Christianity was true. So I went down the rabbit hole. I wanted to prove to myself that God is real, that the Christian God is the one true God. But guess what the fuck happened? As I grew older, and as I kept on critically thinking about these things, I saw that I was wrong.
Key points sa statement niya. Personal experience of growing up Christian, seeking to prove Christianity true, frustration with Christianity's failure to convince. Well, first and foremost, na-appreciate ko naman ang journey niya concerning to this matter, growing up in a Christian environment, immersed in Christian teachings, and then having to critically examine them can be painful and disorienting experience, no? Totoo, it's clear that yung desire mo na ma-examine yung katotohanan and genuine understanding has shaped your worldview. So, dito pa lang, bagamat meron tayong mga sagutan before or discussions, okay, I appreciate that. Ngayon, tingnan mo, isipin mo mabuti. If we think Christianity is like, okay, ako ay lumaki sa isang Christian family, ako ay nagtungo sa Christian school, ako ay nag-aral sa Christian college. Pero wait lang, kapatid, kaibigan. Do you think Christianity is like some sort of set of many rules and rituals? Kasi if yan po ang iyong paunawa, abay, there's something fishy na dapat mong muling saliksikin. Alam mo kasi, Christianity does not claim that every aspect of faith is purely rational or probable like a scientific experiment. But that does not mean it lacks intellectual depth. Ito po yung worldview na nag-imbita sa pagkakaroon ng reasoned reflection sa nature ng universe, sa evidence may kinalaman sa existence ng Diyos, at kay Kristo Jesus. Think about St. Augustine, Aquinas, C.S. Lewis, the rest of them. Ngayon, concerning doon sa sinasabi na critical thinking, gusto kong itanong, ano bang klaseng critical thinking ba ang tinutukoy mo kaya ka nag-conclude ka na hindi totoong Christianity? Alam nyo kasi, critical thinking requires engaging deeply with the evidence from multiple perspectives. Hindi yung isa lang yung nano mo, then that's it. Kasi alam nyo guys, I've found that many people who live Christianity often do so without fully considering the strengths of the argument for the existence of God or the historical case for the resurrection. Minsan nga, ang critical thinking is directed in way that affirm one's own doubts, but true critical inquiry is about being open to wherever the evidence might lead. So, di ba sabi mo sa video na dapat I must have to do my homework. I did. Especially nung time na nagkaroon ako ng doubt sa aking pananampalataya. And still, I'm a Christian. Hindi dahil sa mga kung ano-anong mga ganyan, but because mas nakumbinsi ako sa mga evidence when it comes to Christian faith. Hindi dahil sa indoctrination, ganito, blah, blah, blah. Also, you sought to prove Christianity is true. But have you also critically examined atheism? Kasi ang claim mo, naging atheist ka kasi gusto mong patunayan na totoong Christianity. But you know what? Atheism in rejecting God must account for the origins of the universe, the fine-tuning of life, objective moral values and duties, basis for human dignity. What is the basis for meaning and purpose in life if there's no God? How do we account for the deep moral intuitions we have that transcend mere evolutionary process? Just as you explored Christianity, it might be helpful to also explore the existential questions that arise from atheism and see whether it provides a coherent and fulfilling account of life's purpose. Lahat tayo may doubt. Even I myself, inamin ko nga na nagkaroon ako ng doubt sa aking pananampalataya. That's why I re-examined my faith. Muli kong binisita yung mga evidence for the Christian faith. Nagkaroon din ako ng mga discussions sa iba't ibang mga tao, like sa mga atheists, so to speak. I hope you have watched some of my discussions there. And then, instead na magpababato sa faith ko, as I continue to re-examine my faith as a Christian, mas lalo ako nakumbinsi. You know what? Kahit yung mga disipulo ni Kristo ay nagkaroon pa nga ng doubt eh. Nakita nila na si Kristo ay muling nabuhay. Pero, para may duda pa rin sila, di ba? But they found their questions answered in profound ways. So, Christianity does not offer a superficial or easy answer, but one that challenges us to grow in understanding. Katunayan, the New Testament does not shy away from showing doubt. It invites it and encourages us to seek God in the midst of it. So, naintindihan ko yung naging claim mo dyan na dati kang Kristiyano, pero nung naano mo na hindi ka na naging Kristiyano, umalis ka din, whatever. Okay, I understand what you're saying there, but here's my question to ask. Have you ever reconsidering to re-examine your position today and compare it to what Christianity really teaches? I hope you do, my friend. I hope you do. It sounds like napunta na po siya sa pag-atake sa credentials ko, I think, but hindi ko i-focus yun. Ang gusto ko lang i-address ko yung mga points sa kanyang sinabi. So, let's go.
You know what saddens me, Mr. Rowell? Is that you are an educator, and you somehow still give in to these doctrines. You, sir, are an educator that somehow still believes in dogmatic and very indoctrinous beliefs. So you still hold on to these gospels like there's some kind of absolute truth. And it saddens me because a lot of kids will fall into the trap of what you're doing right now. They will fall into the doctrine, the rabbit hole of Christian doctrine, and believe the things that you believe. Believe in what the Bible says. Like, women should not speak, slavery is okay, rape a woman, pay for her, you're good. So yes.
Unang niyang sinabi ito na it saddens me that you as an educator believe in these doctrines and may influence others. Point 1. Point 2, you hold to the Gospels as if they teach absolute truth. Point 3, the Bible teaches things like women should not speak, slavery is okay, and other heinous things. And also, one more time, sabi pa, nireject mo yung Christianity dahil daw sa lack of evidence and unsubstantiated claims. Tapos nasabi mo pa nga na Christian doctrine is a trap for children and others. Tayo pong mga tao ay may kalayaan na mag-aral, magsuri, di ba? Kahit man sa pagtuturo ko, kumbaga, I even invite those people na magsaliksik, mag-aral, basahin yung mga sources, you name it, mag-review. You know what? I strive to teach in a way that invites critical thinking and encourages students to explore questions openly. Christianity does not fear questions. Katunayan, sabi nga sa Bible sa 1 Thessalonians 5:21, test everything, hold fast what is good. So Christian teaching does hold to objective truths, katulad ng existence of God at mensahe ng Christian ng gospel. But these are not blind assertions, so to speak. They are claims based on historical, philosophical, and experiential evidence that invite rigorous exploration. Ngayon, yung sinasabi mong indoctrination o pagiging dogmatic, so to speak, what do you mean by that? Alam nyo guys, kung paano ang isang secular na educator, he might present a view rooted in naturalism, ang isang Kristiyanong educator naman, he presents a view rooted in the belief that God exists and that life has purpose and moral grounding. And by the way, malaya po tayo na ibahagi kung ano yung paniniwala na meron tayo. Right? Also, yung sinasabi mo na kaya nireject mong Christianity dahil kulang daw ang evidence, guys, listen, Christianity is one of the most historically grounded religions. Ang buhay, kamatayan, pagkabuhay ni Kristo Jesus, well documented in the New Testament accounts. Meron din tayong mga non-Christian sources, gaya ng kay Tacitus, Pliny the Younger, Josephus, na nagko-corroborate certain aspects sa kanyang buhay at sa existence ng early Christianity. Lalo yung muling pagkabuhay ni Kristo. You see, kasama na yung empty tomb, willingness of Jesus' disciples na mamatay for their belief in the resurrection, multiple eyewitness accounts. How about philosophy, cosmological argument, fine-tuning of the universe, moral argument? They provide reasons to believe in the existence of God. Kaya, rather than lacking evidence, Christianity offers a comprehensive case for belief that invites examination. And I invite you to re-examine those. Also, paano naman yung sabi, hindi dapat magsalita ng mga babae, okay lang slavery and other things? It can appear troubling kung hindi ito nabasa sa konteksto. Ano ibig natin sabihin? Sinulat ang Bible in a specific historical and cultural setting, and many of its social instructions were responses to those contexts, not endorsement of the practice themselves. Okay, paano? Una sa mga babae, the Bible repeatedly affirms dignity and worth of women. In a time when women had few rights, Jesus interacted with women respectfully, counterculturally, and included them as followers and witnesses. Paul's statement in Galatians 3:28, sinabi niya, in Christ there is neither male or female. Ito po ay revolutionary, indicating equality before God. And ngayon, kamusta naman yung mga passages like yung 1 Corinthians 14:34 na women remaining silent in churches? It is often debated among scholars and generally understood in terms of specific local issues rather than universal and timeless commands. So mga babae sa Bible, itinuturing na pantay. Pangalawa, na-affirm dito yung dignity at worth ng mga babae. Paano naman yung slavery na sinasabi na paulit-ulit nating naririnig, nababasa. Yung biblical slavery, it was different from the race-based chattel slavery seen in more recent in history. Sa ancient world kasi, and I hope you must have to re-examine it also. Slavery often involved debt repayment or was a consequence of war. Nung nagbabayad ng utang o kaya O kaya yung sa digmaan. It was not based on racial superiority or exploitation. Bukod dyan, kung mababasa talaga natin ng kabuuan yung Exodus 21 and Leviticus 25, the Bible lays out humane treatment of slaves and present freedom as the ultimate goal. Isa pa, sa Philemon 1 verse 16, Paul encourages Christian masters and slaves to treat each other as brothers. And the principles of love and equality eventually inspired many Christians to lead abolitionist movements. Real talk pala, mga Kristiyano ang naging dahilan kaya nagkaroon ng abolition. Nagkaroon ng mga abolitionist movement, so to speak. Paano naman iba pang mga major concerns? Guys, listen. The Bible contains narrative of human brokenness and sin, but it does not condone or celebrate them. Iba yun. The stories of violence or wrongdoing are often descriptive, not prescriptive, na nagpapatuto na tayong mga tao ay nangangailangan ng pagliligtas. In teaching us about human nature and God's mercy, the Bible does not shy away from presenting the harsh realities of the world. Pero sa kabuuan ng mga naratibong yan, the Bible consistently calls believers to higher moral standards epitomized in the command to love God and love others as oneself. And concerning sa concept ng absolute truth, believing absolute truth is not about forcing others into dogma. It's about recognizing that some things are universally true regardless of our personal preferences. Lalo yung claims ng Christianity, may katotohanan dyan about who God is, yung human nature, yung kaligtasan na kailangan talaga. So, rather than restricting freedom, a foundation in absolute truth can be liberating. Bakit? It provides a stable foundation upon which to build a meaningful life. Christianity teaches that truth exists at ito po ay personified sa ating Panginoong Jesus na nagsabing siya ang daan, katotohanan at ang buhay at walang makapupunta sama kundi sa pamamagitan niya. So, it's like you see Christianity as a set of rigid doctrines that restrict people's thinking. But in reality, Christianity is about relationship with God and a life of meaning, freedom, and purpose. Christianity doctrines are not arbitrary rules. They are grounded in love and aimed at helping us live lives of integrity, compassion, and hope. So, inimbitahan kita, if ever na mapanood mo to, na pag-usapan natin. Mag-discuss tayo. Aralin natin mabuti. Like, si C.S. Lewis na dating atheist, naging Kristiyano siya uli. Bakit? Nagkaroon po siya ng pag-analyze sa mga claims ng Christian faith, so to speak. Naniwala siya na Christianity offered the best explanation for human experience, morality, and purpose. By the way, Christianity does not avoid questions or challenges. Kumbaga, ini-invite pa nga tayo na saliksikin ang katotohanan ukol dyan. Kaya, kaibigan, alam kong concern ka, lalo sa mga kabataan dyan na baka mami-misled or whatever. So, I share a similar concern about wanting people to live truthfully and meaningfully. Christianity does make objective claims about reality, but it invites everyone to explore and evaluate these claims for themselves. Far from being a trap like what you are claiming there, Christianity has inspired countless people to live lives of compassion, justice, and homework. Purpose pala. So, let's do some homework again and re-examine our faith. And I invite you to re-examine it. Okay. Baba ko muna. Ayan. Last part sa ating discussion. Kung saan nag-react po yung isang atheist concerning about many things like about my faith and many more. So, let's do it.
I chose to reject that type of belief system because that is not a good belief system. I reject Christianity because of lack of evidences, a lot of heinous things in the Bible, and so many unsubstantiated claims. So before you spew your dogma and then resort to red herrings and so many tired and overused arguments, educate yourself. I'm going to bring that back to you. That's going to ricochet at you. Do your homework, especially that you are an educator. You're a teacher. You're supposed to know these things.
You know what? Naintindihan ko naman at na-appreciate ko yung passion mo at yung dedication mo na hanapin kung ano yung totoo. It's clear that, yun nga, you've spent a lot of time considering these issues like about Christianity, about atheism, you name it. So I welcome the opportunity na magkaroon tayong discussion concerning to that, as I have already told you before. And although it's already 1 year since you uploaded that, I guess it's time for me once more to invite you for this. Anyway, naintindihan naman natin yung tinutukoy yung dogma, indoctrination, as if parang set of blind at unquestioned beliefs, kumbaga ang pinipinpoint. But then, Christianity is a faith that values the use of reason. We can ask the books or the articles or the writings of some like St. Augustine, St. Thomas Aquinas, C.S. Lewis, you name it. Ginamit nila kasi yung filosofiya, agham, at kasaysayan para ma-explore at depensahan ng Christian belief. Isa pa, itong mga thinkers na to at iba pa, they have shown that Christian faith does not avoid questions but invites people to test and examine its claims. So, yung claim mo na ang Christianity nagpo-promote lamang ng dogma and indoctrination as if hindi ini-invite yung mga questions, I think you must have to reconsider that. Furthermore, indoctrination implies a fear of investigation. Pero ang Christianity, ini-encourage tayo na hanapin ko kung anong totoo. Di ba nga sabi ng Panginoon, love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with your strength, and with all your mind. Kaya nga, rather than being a closed system, Christianity calls for open engagements with the best arguments from both sides. So, if you really watch the discussions that I had with some atheists before, magkaroon ka po muna uli ng time to re-evaluate or re-examine the arguments na pinisenta ng parehong panig. How about so-called overused arguments na sinabi mo? Totoo na yung iba pang mga arguments, these come up frequently like the moral argument or the argument for the beginning of the universe. Pero hindi ito dahil kulang sa originality ang Christianity, but because these arguments address some of life's most profound questions. Halimbawa, kung walang Diyos, it's worth asking where objective moral values come from or how we account for the universe's origin. Itong mga arguments na to ay nade-develop, refined, in-expand ng mga thinkers over the centuries, and they continue to be relevant. Bakit? They touch on universal questions about existence, meaning, and morality. So, okay, na-recognize namin na narinig mo yan. Kumbaga, matatawag natin na hindi ka kumbinsido sa mga arguments na nagpresenta. Pero, we could explore some of the nuances within these arguments if you're open to it. And then, by the way, did you ever dare to consider the arguments na pinapresent against the existence of God? Like, God is a moral monster, or yung claim mo na ang gospel daw ay anonymous, o kaya yung meron kang isang series sa iyong videos na kung saan pinipresent mo na ang Diyos daw ay incompetent, evil one, or whatever. Na presenta din ito ng ilang mga atheists like Richard Dawkins, Christopher Hitchens, and Sam Harris and Daniel Dennett. Diba? Ang maganda dito, i-re-examine uli, i-re-evaluate, at tingnan natin which is reasonable. Well, na-appreciate ko naman ang sinabi mo na educate yourself. Do your homework. Na-appreciate ko yung suggestion mo na mag-dig deeper, as the pursuit of truth is important to me as well. At isa pa, ina-encourage ng Christianity ang mga mananampalataya to engage critically with their faith and to seek understanding. Well, many Christians dedicate their lives to exploring the intellectual foundations of their beliefs, and they have published numerous works engaging with challenges and objections like the writings of Habermas, Licona, Frank Turek, Greg Koukl, William Lane Craig, and many more of it. And I guess, ito, idagdag ko pa, N.T. Wright, the articles from Jonathan McClatchy and others. So, no worries about that. And thank you for encouraging me to do my own homework. Because you know what? I will tell you. Minsan na akong dumapo doon sa ganyang pagdududa. That's why I reevaluate my faith. By what? Not just listening to others without even dare to examine their claims. Siyempre, magbabasa talaga. Like, what I am doing here right now. Actually, sa aking maliit nga na library, ang dami ko pong mga libro dyan na kung saan kailangan ko talagang tignan yan. Bakit? You know what, when you say that you reject Christianity because you went on to prove that Christianity is true pero nabigo or whatever, I guess you must have to re-examine it. Kasi, tingnan nyo, I would welcome hearing what sources or arguments you found most compelling, and perhaps I could share some resources that present the Christian side in ways you may not have encountered before. You see, baka maya-maya merong libro na The God Delusion na actually meron ako dito na binabasa ko even today. So, don't worry. Thank you for that encouragement na I must have to do my own homework. Isa pa, kung tutusin, if some Christian arguments have not resonate with you, I'd love to understand more about which ones and why. There's a range of approaches within Christian apologetics, mula sa historical arguments para sa resurrection ng Panginoong Jesus, hanggang sa philosophical arguments for the existence of God and moral values. Each approach offers different insights and perhaps one may address your questions better than others. Kaya, isa pa, sa post mo na sinasabi, itong sabi mo na, ano sana yun? Ayan, na, you spew dogma and resort to red herrings and tired, overused arguments. But you know what? You must have to define first the terms that you have presented, and even if your claims were substantiated, so to speak, how did you know that? Did you ever dare to re-examine those claims that I've presented before? Also, bukod dyan, isa rin po itong challenge din para sa'yo, kaibigan. You must have to do your own homework as well. You must have to educate yourself. Kasi, mag-aminan tayo. We must be intellectually honest for this. Stop believing in dogma and indoctrination. Clarify natin. Christian arguments for the existence of God, morality, and the historical evidence for Jesus' life and resurrection are based on philosophical reasoning and historical analysis. So rather than a refusal to consider evidence, many Christians find these arguments provide a coherent and intellectually satisfying explanation of reality. Belief in God, far from being a result of so-called indoctrination, which you mean na parang hindi pwedeng itanong o questionin ang Christianity kumbaga open sa mga tanong. Okay? Belief in God is often a reasoned choice that arises from evaluating life's biggest questions. And then you said, I think sa post mo, your funny brain is muddled with BS. I feel sorry for you. But you know what? Suggest that an honest search for truth includes examining beliefs critically, Kristiyano man o hindi. Many Christians recognize that blind acceptance or model thinking can be a risk in any belief system, which is why mayroong apologetics at natawag. That's why I continue to study it. I continue to find which best explains reality. Even the discussions that I had. Kaya nga, by studying arguments for and against Christianity, many believers like me aim to hold an informed faith that is both thoughtful and intellectually satisfying. So, you know what, kaibigan? Thank you for telling me that I must have to do my homework. Kasi hanggang ngayon, I'm still doing it. But here's my advice to you as well, my friend. By borrowing your own quotation, do your homework as well. Sa lahat po ng mga nakikinig, hindi po masama na aminin na meron po talaga tayong kakulangan sa kaalaman. No? So, let's have some time to re-examine what we believe by analyzing the evidence. And kung sasabihin mo, still there's no evidence for God, is it because you deny it or what? I don't know for sure. Pero kung nakikinig ka man ngayon, kapatid, think about that for a moment. Aminin natin, maraming mga bagay na hindi po natin talaga nalalaman. So, my advice to you as well is, do your homework as well. And if you're watching this, I'm willing to have a discussion with you about this matter. Again, Christianity is not blind faith. Christianity considers evidence. And even if someone accepts Christianity or not, still Christianity stands. Dahil matibay po ang foundation nito. Well, God exists. Jesus rose from the dead. And if Christianity were true, would you become a Christian? Ikaw lang po makapagpasya dyan. Then, it's already sunny day. Of course, I want to address something concerning this matter. So kahapon, in-upload ko yung 6-part na discussion bilang reply sa mga presentation ni Ricky Teriyaki aka Ikatlo, kung saan sinabi niya na ang atheism daw ay rejection lamang sa claim na may Diyos. Love is just some sort of a chemical reaction sa katawan. Ang Gospels ay hindi mapagkakatiwalaan. Dati raw siyang Christian na naging atheist. Tapos, he even dares to attack my credentials of some sort. Then, he even dares to advise me to do my homework. Well, based on the responses that you have already watched, we did. However, ito po ang surprising. Remember what he told me, that I must have to educate myself and do my homework? And when I advised him na sana ganun din ang kanyang gawin, and I even invite him for a conversation about if atheism or if Christianity really makes sense in reality, he blocked me. Paano ko nalaman? Well, kagabi lang chinek ko uli. Then I've noticed hindi ko na po makita yung kanyang platform. Bakit kaya? Well, ayokong mag-judge. Ayokong mag-accuse na kung ano-ano. Kasi sa bagay, tawag dito, kalayaan po natin yan na gawin yon. Yan lang. Remember, my friends, he told me 1 year ago that I must have to educate myself, that I must have to do my homework. So, instead of presenting good arguments against the arguments that I have presented, well, he even dares to make some sort of ad hominem, which is it does not even prove his own position as an atheist. So, malinaw po, napakalinaw po naman na, ayan, he doesn't want Christianity to be true. He wants to be an atheist. I don't know kung hanggang kailan. However, here is the sad part. When he told me that I must have to educate myself, bilang isang Kristiyano, yan po naman ang dapat gawin. Bakit? Hindi po takot ang Christianity sa mga tough questions. Hindi takot ang Christianity pagdating sa mga seryosong tanong like, why are we here? What is the purpose of life? Is there life after death? And many more. Ngayon, he also claimed in his video that when he became when he became an atheist because he wants to prove that Christianity is true. Saan ba napunta ang kanyang view? Diba? I don't know about you, my friends, but to say that I became an atheist because I want to prove that Christianity is true, saan ba galing yun? Yung ganong mantra, diba? To put it simply, I think he was not on the research. If he is in the research as what he told, as what he claimed sa kanyang video 1 year ago, if I am him, I must have to reconsider the evidence on both sides. Gaya na lamang halimbawa ng pagkakaroon ko ng conversation sa mga skeptics like Vox Atheus, Sensei Ilo, and even You Will Die. So, to put it simply, as I end this series, ito na yung pinaka-end. Here is my short advice to every single person here. Kristiyano ka man o atheist. And dun po sa mga followers po ni Ricky Teriyaki, aka Ikatlo, I think I will advise you the same advice that you told me 1 year ago.
Educate yourself. I'm going to bring that back to you. That's going to ricochet at you. Do your homework.
Remember, kapatid, ang Christianity ay hindi takot pagdating sa mga tough questions ng buhay. Ang malaking tanong, handa mo bang tanggapin ang evidence nito? Or you will continue to deny or reject the fact that God exists, that Jesus had risen from the dead, that the Bible is true. At para sa iyo, Ginoong Ikatlo or Ricky Teriyaki, I understand that you already blocked me in this platform in TikTok. But it doesn't matter. What matters most is this: yaong mga nakikinig, yaong mga talagang nagsasaliksik, I want them to re-examine both sides. Hindi lang po one-sided. So, gaya ng iyong advice, yan din po sana ang advice ko sa'yo na dapat mo pong gawin. You must have to educate yourself once more about what Christianity really teaches. Why we consider the evidence that God really exists. Through what? The effects of His creation, human consciousness, the Bible, the person of Christ. And then, you must have to ask yourself, what if totoo pala yan? Paano ko yung nakagisnan mo na so-called Christianity ay hindi pala yung Christianity na tinuturo ng Biblia? Walang masama na aminin natin na there are times na naging intellectually dishonest tayo. That's why we continue to learn. That's why we continue to re-examine what we have learned before. Tama ka naman. We must educate ourselves. But, you know what, my friend? Well then, for the love of God and for the sake of truth, we must have to walk the talk. We must have to practice what we preach. So, that's all for now. And I hope you have learned a lot about this. So, Jesus is Lord. Have a great day.